Morning. Today is August the 16th. We are in Vermont. It's about 9:45 in the morning. It's a rapidly warming day. It's probably in the upper 60s right now, and I've spent most of my ingress into the area that we're going today spending time with a great blue heron that keeps thinking he's got a good fishing spot along the stream, and then I walk up on him and piss him off and he flies off again. So I'm playing tag with a large crane-esque bird, and we were going to go to Manitou today, but we decided not the right day, and we're going to go to the area between, which is kind of like north and west and beyond the Five Bogs. We're doing that today, more with the intent of following up on historical, at this point, signs of activity to see if there's a certain group of subjects that are in the area or not. You do periodic follow-ups in areas, and that's what we're doing today. So that's the plan. We're going to go along, and we'll touch on some other things as events warrant. But that's the plan, so we're going to get going, and let's get moving. We're not to our destination yet. We're filming because something just sounded off. I want to have the camera rolling if something occurs. There you go. Grouse activity, but this is the one time when this wasn't nothing. Except a gentle reminder, I got to renew my hunting license if I'm going to shoot them this fall. Anyway, we're almost there. I will segment break until we're ready to deploy and get into the off-grid part of this. We'll be back in a bit. Back amidst these wonderful little flowers out here in this meadow we're going to traverse. Things to cover. I hate this fucking grass because it's not nearly as level as you might think. And part of my reasoning for not going to Manitou is physical demand versus a need that's slightly tweaked right now. So walking through this probably isn't helping my case very much, but you got a frog. So far, the wildlife of the day has been bird-centric. Overheard a grouse and kind of played tag with a heron so far. The day is young, and walking through this shit is a fucking pain in the ass. Because the ground is not level. There are whole stretches of this bullshit. So where I see where there's a patch where Bullwinkle's kind of flattened it a little bit. So the other thing on Facebook that I was trying to decide if I was going to post a video or not, which admittedly was crafted out of annoyance. I'm not going to say full anger because I don't think I showed anything that would be accused of being rage bait or anything, but regardless, fuck, this is a pain in the ass. The resulting stir, I have to kind of gauge if it's in fact worth it or not, because the person in question, off of one comment, reacted in a manner, so to their credit, they did at one point catch themselves, but not before talking some smack that opened the door to a history lesson or two. And that is kind of the thing in question, is the resulting bullshit worth it or not. Because, so what I meant in the post I made last weekend, and to Heidi, if you're watching this, I don't remember, admittedly, how closely you follow Bigfoot-related politics, like community internet drama nonsense, but let me just get out of this fucking crap for a minute. But the person in question, denials aside, read gaslighting, is very much in to being perceived as a Bigfooting celebrity. Which is what I meant when I said there are no sacred cows. If you're going to open up the door to past drama and resulting scrutiny, you're probably not going to do very well or look very good, because the shit that he's guilty of doing almost make it laughable when he had the gall, in private mind you, to say, well, you're either a friend or you're not. In order to have any credibility saying that, you have to act like one. And for the last 4 or 5 years, let me make myself clear. You've made it very clear what kind of a friend you are and are not. So, let's be clear. You would be wrong if you didn't think I saw you coming and saw things for what they are. And no, I'm not going to play into your fucking hype, your celebrity bullshit hype. Mikey doesn't play that. And as I was saying in the video, I question the wisdom of making, on some levels, grabber bushes, I hate you too. As much as I'm trying to keep a relatively easy trek through the wooded part of this, you can't really do that without dealing with the odd clump of grabber bushes. I could go this way, but then you go right into that. I'm going to go around for the sake of less bullshit. I hate grabber bushes so much. So they think, I mean, if you just read the guy's fucking bio on Facebook, they literally lead with, as seen on the following, which, from me, I'm sorry, is all that's going to get you, is being on fucking TV does not make you an expert on the subject. It means you knew somebody, or in the right place at the right time to be on TV. I can think of 5 different occasions I have turned down that same very opportunity because I think of it as a hypocrisy to go that route if in fact I feel about it that way. Believe it or not, there are actually some advantages to being kind of low on the radar, which is why I get a little bit perturbed when my name is sort of taken in vain by some, think longtime actors in the community. Because when drama goes down and you really have no one else to blame, so you go for the easy one, it gets old and defamatory. And I'm really not a litigious person, but there have been things done by this person that could have been court-worthy, or even potentially police-worthy, if you want to factor in cyber-stalking related shit. One of his buddies I know that he's tight with, in particular, I know, has been cyber-stalking myself and others for at least 10 years. And some of you out there hearing this might be thinking something along the lines of, sounds bad when you put it like that. And you'd be right. Huh? You'd be right. That is really all I want to cover on this. I don't want to make this whole video about that, because we're actually kind of going through an area looking for new sign, given some historical patterns here. And for that reason, we're going to focus more in on the environment and take a segment break and be back in a little bit when I'm done going through this bullshit, so I can whine about the tall grass again. Something for you to look forward to. Anyway, we'll be back in a bit. We're huffing a little bit. We just went through all of that and the tall grass for at least, could be a quarter mile, I'm going to say half. The trick to where we're trying to get to, and we've been there before, but it's been a little time, so my memory's not fresh. But as long as we can see what amounts to the 6th bog in parallel, we'll get to the stream in between with minimal bullshit. Once we get into the middle of this more, it does open up more, so we're not bushwhacking and macheteing through grabber bushes the whole way, because I'm already kind of at my limit with that. So we're going to find our way to where it opens up, which is hopefully right around the corner, and follow that to cover some ground, just because kind of at my, I think this is what I was looking for. There's a spot in the middle that opens up to almost like a trail. Not quite a trail, but it's flat and open enough. Whew, I can cover some fucking ground without fighting every goddamn plant between point A and B. And when I say that Manitou is hard to get in and out of, I have to remind myself on occasion, Manitou's not alone. I don't think it's even 80 degrees yet. I am thoroughly fucking soaked, so that's just the nature of the beast. So we're going to walk this a little further, and since I can still see, we're going to kind of stay at a 45-degree angle, because I can always backtrack this back should I get a little turned around. And once I get to that part, you can kind of just go back through that and end up in the meadow, and you're not going to get turned around too badly. I'm just kind of taking my time because it's reasonably early in the day, and I also need to kind of catch my breath back a little bit. Navigating that greenery is a bit of a bitch. And fuck, I'm soaked. Anyway, back to where we were. We kind of went off on the tangent that I have myself turned down at least 4, I'm going to say 5 opportunities to be on the tube. Mainly because I just don't really have a lot of interest in that, and I don't want the notoriety for a number of reasons. Some that are work-related. Keep work and life separate. There's a work-life balance issue at play, at least philosophically. And that is just how I come to view that. We're going to make our way over to that deadfall tree over there. See how close we are to our destination point. Because at some point I think I need to give up the easygoing trail again. But again, worst case scenario, you just go along the water, the edge line of the meadow there, and you're still kind of parallel to where you started out. I just don't want to go back into that until I've had a little breather. That stuff. What you don't realize you're doing when you're walking through stuff like that, for people that don't quite understand what I'm referring to, you're not just walking through that. You're using your quads and your calves to push through it. As much as you're walking, it's almost, it's like isometric resistance training on a level. Which, at the age I'm at, is probably why I'm not some big fat shit. Because this is a unique style of workout. But don't for one fucking second think this is not a workout. Because it absolutely is. And deceptively so. So effectively, some might be asking, why don't you just follow the meadow that way? And if push come to shove and I get turned around, I'm gonna, because that's your fail-safe towards getting turned around in this shit. But the meadow takes you that way. And hello, moose poo, I'm not stepping in. But the stream is sort of more that way. So I don't honestly think you're going to get lost, because you are in the middle of something that has trails more or less on all sides of it. I'm also trying not to too much, but it's when you're considering your words and you're also getting a breather, it's kind of hard to do that. I think I just stifled like 3 of them. Okay, so let me get to a bald patch here real quick for bearings. Way back is that way. The meadow's over there. And the way through may be over that hill. Because that's the thing, is I forget how long it is. And although I don't mean to rag on those that are more into being TV, I'll just say TV people, TV is not an expert make it. A lot of fucking people are starting to come around to that. They introduced the Expedition Bigfoot bullshit as like experts. And the fact is, Russell LaCorde is an actor at this point. The first season of that show showed them to be enacting things. He's an actor. He's not... And I'm not going to get into a whole hate thing with him. I don't know the guy from a hole in the wall personally as a person. But these people are being pulled into conferences as experts and speakers now. And that is the great failing of the subject right now. The fact that they are being portrayed for something they're not. Being an actor doesn't make you an expert in the thing you're acting to be. But, you know, I may be unfortunately on the wrong side of history on that, but sue me for being old school. Can I still see? I can see it back behind me, so we're still good. Worst case right now is we're gonna go home at an odd angle, but and if you're wondering if there's a point where we say fuck it, we're not in the right area and we're gonna fall back and punt, you are not wrong. There is. But I'm also on uncertain ground. I got to go through a pair of rather stubborn grabber bitches, and I'm trying to defend my knee too, so. So, like I said, I can still see back there and see the meadow, so you're not, I don't think the way through is so long that you're going to get turned around, because as long as you can see the meadow, you can head down and angle your way back that way. But if I get to the top of this hill and we're still a fucking ways away, I may question my choices because of the heat level, but we'll see. If I remember right though, it's like you fjord the hill and then it's kind of a drop into where I want to get to. And that is why this is looking not too bad. Again, for mental comfort, I can still see the meadow over there though. It's a couple hundred yards, if that. You kind of lose a proportion of distance because of the shit you're walking through. I'm just trying to find the path of least resistance to get up the hill here and not get grabber bush to death. Like there's little nooks and crannies where you can kind of maneuver through. Like through this ferny shit. To some degree anyway. Okay, I can't see the thing anymore, but no, actually I can. It's over there. You're good. So if I'm right, Jesus Christ. The ability of these things to wrap around your ankle and try to twist it is really annoying. But case in point to the thing I said about kind of using your quads and your calves. Mine are on fire right now, pushing through this shit. Yeah, so if I can just get over here. I think we're there. Oh, you fucking asshole. Eat shit and die. And if you really wanted to cheat, you could just follow the stream all the way back to the bridge. But if I come out and this is just more trees, though, I'm going to stop. Because you also then have to realize you might be going in the wrong direction. But it looks like it goes into a sudden drop right where that twist is over there. Which is worthy of evidence consideration. But I am going to take a segment break to look at that and then determine if I'm on the right track or not. Shit. That being said, I could always just hike through. If I do get down to the stream, you hike up the hill and you come out on the path on the other way. You're not actually... Shit, it doesn't... I'm going to go to those trees after I take a look at this, but I'll be back in a sec. And yeah, we're still in this shit. We're not going to make it to the stream just because I didn't get to a point where I could actually see and verify it was there, as opposed to like this. And it's too easy to get turned around in a place like this and basically go around in circles. I mean, basically fall victim to human stupidity, but as I bumblefuck my way through this, because now that I'm talking on the mic. But our way out, I think, is over there. And yeah, between the tentative nature of my knee and that, well, Manitou may have been overly ambitious. This is, I had forgotten. There are stretches of this little area. I might have breathed in a spider web. Where the going can be kind of tough too. So we're kind of up against prudence and valor here, so we're going to do that. I did find an interesting twist I took a picture of. So while I'm going to take a second to rag on stick structures and shit, twists are always something more interesting because it didn't just break in an odd direction. It actually got twisted. And then you have a valid reason to ask, so how did that happen? Because, is this what I was remembering? There's like a stretch through here where it's not so grabber infested. It leads you kind of back with kind of like the yellow brick road almost in some places. And anyway, and but again, as long as I can see out there, that's the meadow. And worst case scenario, you just get sick of the grabber bushes, drop back down to get sick of the fucking tall grass, and meander your way out that way. As long as I can see that, you're not too lost. But it opens up over there, and I'm pretty sure that's where we came in. I also have the suspicion that you never kind of traverse this thing the same way twice, because it's just too easy to not do that. Excuse me. Starting to get to that part of the day where it's like I'm going to sleep good tonight because he's so kind of like over that bend. So those are my thoughts on the video. I guess my thought at this point is I can raise the points 2 weeks away from the actual verbal skirmish I had with this individual. And yes, if I mentioned his name, you would immediately know who he is. And he doesn't like being spoken of in terms like that because, again, he is... I will say this, and I'm not going to name names. He would sell his own grandmother to protect his persona and, quote-unquote, his brand. And he would deny it and take great offense and probably say, fuck you to me, because he already did that last week. You know who you are. Pepperidge Farms remembers, bitch. And doesn't appreciate being talked to like that. So we're definitely heading towards an egress point. The question is, did I come out too soon and I got to angle over or not? Because I'm kind of remembering now, I think that ended up being what happened. But we're not going to get lost because it's all one big fucking meadow that connects. I just have to go around if I want to go out the way I want. You're going to chew the shit out of your quads again either way, though. That doesn't really matter. Let's get to the hill and then see if I'm going to hop over a little ways or not, because I suspect I am. Yeah, I suspect I want to be over here. Let's go that way. I think I'm about, or let's just start angling. And if I come across like I'm ragging on the TV people, I'm really not, believe it or not, looking for a pissing contest, because I really have zero fucking interest in that. I think I go out that way. And that to be said, at least I'd lose my magazine. And by that I mean ammo is expensive, so replacing it's a pain in the ass. So if anyone wonders if I carry when I'm out here, I guess that answers that question. We're going to make our way down and figure out the best way to cross and begin our return approach. Like I said, it's a lovely stream, but you have a lovely stream down here, so you're not really losing anything in terms of the view. And the thing being, if I did do something to my knee, there's another twist over here. Getting out of there, it's a steep drop, which means it's a steep climb back up. So, needless to say, you wouldn't be helping yourself. We actually did overshoot a little bit. It's over there. I was right the first time. Oh well. So we're going to get over to this little twist thing here and then figure out where I'm coming down, and then we'll angle to the stream and cross. And remind the fucking grabber bushes there's a special place in hell for them, because they are really just that annoying. So, another twist. Like I said, the key point being with twists, they're more interesting than breaks to me, because there's more of a story behind how they got to be the way they are. Guess we're going this way. Makes for more compelling evidence to me, so. I mean, we were getting to a point with some people, you had a pile of sticks that somebody probably made in their backyard near their fucking kid's sandbox, and like we're pointing there going, ooh, Bigfoot. And that's when it just gets kind of cartoony and stupid. Like, really, guys, a little effort. I think I did come down this thing. We may be scrambling through the same shit we were cursing at when we came in. Let me get over here so I can see allegedly what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, what I'm going to do is take a break, because you see how steep that is. I got to kind of do some angling, which means I need both my hands. Or I go over this way, where it might be a little more level. Let's have a look. Yeah, sort of. It'll drop me off, and I got to fucking cross the stream anyway, so. I'm going to take a segment break because I need both my hands anyway. So I'll be back in the back. We're kind of grabbing a breather as we work our way back through the original meadow and fall into a hole. Asshole. Trying to find kind of like the path of least resistance as the sun comes out. We covered some decent ground before it did, because when we came through here the first time, the sun beating down on me, you could definitely feel it. And just trying to find the path of least resistance. Does this go right down into the water, or can I walk this? Or is it sinky mud? Because it looks, yeah, that's sinky mud. So that's not going to work. Unfortunately, we're going the hard way. Which means we got to advance back through this. Keep ourselves aligned. And just kind of cut through this as best we can. To get over to where it's a little lighter over here. Like a little patch in between where it breaks up a little more. Oh, to my point about the workout before, hopefully that kind of illustrates. But we have to get over to there, and then we can enter the trees and get into the shade again for a few. And catch a little bit of a breather. Okay. We're going to angle there, and then straight through the woods. And if you missed it, and I think you did, because I don't think I was cameraing yet. There were like three definitely massive piles of moose plop hidden in here that you wouldn't have seen. And thus, you would have proverbially stepped in it, so to speak. Now we're just kind of trailblazing through to get to the wood line. As best we can, making use of the lesser thick, which is a bunch of bullshit because it's all thick, but there's a particular kind of back pedal step you do if you kind of get caught to catch yourself. And one day I'm going to blow out my hamstring doing that. Because when you're not in your 20s anymore, like me, much as I hate aging myself, and you're pushing yourself, it's a lot easier to fuck up, and then you pay for it for a bit. Whew, but we made it. We can get up into the shade, take this little staircase for a minute, and we're almost back to the woodland equivalent of civilization. Much as I'm loath to admit it, some people might ask why do you put yourself through these things, and because it's there, and it's a part of the week where you challenge yourself physically, sometimes mentally. Anywho, I'm gonna get that deer kid off me. That's what that was. I don't need. First time I've seen them up here in a while, but at this point, Google it. I'm gonna if they're in this part of the woods, I'm going to keep moving then to minimize my contact with them, so I don't get having to deal with them, because they're not ticks, but they do the same things. And they fly. So we're gonna cut right through this, and one more bitch session with the tall grass, and then we're more or less in a better spot. But let's we're not going to go straight through. We're going to kind of, a little easier if you kind of duck and weave through the bits of this to the right. Effectively, if you follow the tree line to near the river. So we're going to do that. I'm feeling a segment break because I don't really want to ramble on as I kind of try to navigate this the least troublesome way possible. And not do this in a complete pine needle shower. So we're gonna take a segment break, and you know the drill.